Hey guys, it's Eric, owner of Farpoint Farms here in the mountains of North Carolina. We're live. We are live. So I am happy to see you all here. It's been in a very, very interesting month. I think you can all agree with that. We're gonna do a show a little different. Well, not too different. We're gonna do a half hour, give or take, here at Farpoint Farms, and then we're gonna switch over to the YouTube channel for the Midnight Cafe. Just Google the Midnight Cafe on YouTube here, and you'll find that channel as well. And we'll switch over to that because, for the censorship issues that we have here, you're not allowed to talk about certain subjects, or you're not supposed to talk about certain subjects. It can really mess with the system. So while I have some things to protect here on this channel, I feel like the Midnight Cafe, with its 300 or 400 subscribers, is designed for this sort of stuff. I mean, it's a talk show. The whole channel is about that. And of course, the radio station that I run, we talk about that quite a bit on it, but that's a different story. So how is everybody doing tonight? I hope you're all well. Eddie Fisher, good to see you in there. My wife works at the hospital here, and they're opening up a brand new ER section just for it. Wow, I already have 12. That is not good news to hear. Cat lover Bro Weaver, we have 7 cases. Yeah, there's some up here where I'm at, a lot in the surrounding counties, and a lot over the border in Tennessee. Dustin Adams, hello from Illinois. How you doing, brother? William Oswald, hey, Zach, 851 in Indiana. My seat is deflating. There we go. Sorry about that. Can everybody hear me okay? I know the camera's on. I'm trying to use a separate mic because it's a little farther away from the camera tonight, so hopefully everyone can hear me. I wasn't sure that it was picking up both. Star Wars Rosie, sorry to hear that. Yeah, the New York area, well, the Big Apple is going to turn rotten, it looks like, and that's kind of sad. I've been in New York City. I was there when I was on leave in the Army a few times in my life, and wonderful place, man, wonderful place. Jordan B., good to see you. Streets are empty here in Southern California. Yeah, this is like it's like the beginning of a bad horror movie. I feel like I've seen this movie before, and it doesn't have a great ending either. Cat Lover saying good to hear you good. That's good to hear. Vincent from New York. Yes, just fine. Great. Vincent, be careful. Dustin Adams. Loud and clear on my end. Great. Rock and Rod. Hey, what a difference a month makes. Boy, you ain't kidding. You ain't kidding. What a difference. Hey, Gary Flattery. Hi. How you doing, my friend? Mike Cricket. I see your army jacket behind you. Yeah. Yeah, the old school. Back at those are the army green, like the woodland camo days, not the desert camo. Hey Eddie, I got a question for you. How's business? I don't know the area you're in there, but is it like, are you guys on lockdown? Are you having just takeout only, and has it affected sales? David G, good to see you in there, my friend. Good. I hope you're doing well up there, up north. Clifford saying he's from Port St. Lucille in Florida. Florida, man, I just got such a bad feeling about what's going to happen in Florida. Hopefully the warmer temperatures slow things down, but I'm definitely worried. So, for those of us who are following this stuff from the very beginning, it started off, I was kind of made aware of this mid-January, and certainly it was something interesting. It was something to keep an eye on. It slowly rolled its way through other continents, other worlds, but here we are, not that far down the road. The state that I'm in, North Carolina, I think Monday at 5 o'clock we go on a 30-day shutdown of everything non-essential, I would say. Luckily, I'm pretty well shut down already, but it does make me wonder, how that's going to look for a lot of people. What we're seeing already is a lot of people ignoring, and I don't know about your area, and y'all can chime in on this, but we're seeing a lot of people ignore the rules. They're already not paying attention. We have a lot of people who are just, total disregard, feel like it's not going to happen to them. I look at what happened during spring break and the repercussions of that, so it's kind of interesting to see how that plays out. Looks like we are losing viewers. I'm going to bet that they drop us out of here several times, so I haven't seen any comments. If y'all want to go ahead and comment and let me know if you're coming back. Looks like the numbers are starting to come back, but I know the last time I tried to do a live chat on the Midnight Cafe, it literally like stopped streaming repeatedly due to what we were talking about, which was kind of sad. But William Oswald making marshies for 3 make okay, Bro Weaver. The thoughts on GM trying to rip off the government for a virginity? Yeah, dude. I was really interested in that. He's asked, and I think it's the great part about our country is that you put forth a call. Hey man, step up. Let's do this. We need this. We need that. Asked Elon Musk's company Tesla, asked Ford, and asked GM, and Tesla and Ford immediately got to it. GM dragging their feet, and this is not a time for feet dragging. So good for him and bad for them. That won't be forgotten on me. Not that I was a huge GM fan anyway, but that's kind of embarrassing, I would say, for them to have had to have us make that kind of a call in order to get things going. Star Wars Rosie's commenting that it did drop out for you. Hey, Gary Flannery, thank you very much, my friend. A super chat. You know, I don't I don't really get those very often, so I appreciate that. That's awesome, man. Uh, David G, it froze a couple times and dropped on us. Of course, now, some of this, I won't blame this all on conspiracy theories. On my side, it's saying excellent connection, but that doesn't really mean much. We could be looking at a high bandwidth usage. They are saying they're probably going to have to start throttling internet usage. Now, I know that, I don't know if it shows up on your end, but I did lower the bandwidth or lower the resolution of my video for this tonight. I shrank the size of the video down. I got a warning from YouTube that it wasn't ideal, but hopefully that works. Yeah, Citizen Press shirt, Bro Weaver likes that. Gary, thank you, my friend. I'm glad that the channel brings you some joy. Hopefully, yeah, my Citizen Press shirt. We are all Citizen Press. You know, the mainstream media, or the corporate media, as I like to call them. They're garbage. They feed us garbage, and that's all they have is garbage. I get more information from people sitting in their kitchens, people sitting in their basements, people who are just in it for no reason other than to spread valuable information, which is why I knew what was going to happen here months ago, and while probably most of you knew the same thing. I was lucky enough to be paying attention to people who actually cared instead of people who were just forcing their agenda on us, as they always do. So Citizen Press, I think we should all. I actually sell these on my whatever that, I don't know where it is I sell shirts, but whatever company it is that I sell my shirts with, I don't make any profit on any of this stuff, but I have a shirt just like this that I sell because where I got this no longer makes them. But I think that everybody should be having these shirts on and be on YouTube to send a very clear message that we are the real press in this country. Orange Man Good says good feed on your end. Glad to hear it. Thumbs up. Yeah, please give a thumbs up. I think it's cool. Jordan B said he dropped the quality of 360p and it's working good now. Great, glad to hear that. Orange Man Good, are you doing a live stream on the other channel? Yeah, so it's like 6 o'clock right now, give or take. We'll hang out here till about 6:30, 6:45, and then when we want to feel like it's a good time, we'll switch over to the Midnight Cafe. For those of you who are not familiar with the Midnight Cafe, it's right here on YouTube. It is literally me doing the same thing with a different background, but it's more of a free speech orientated channel. I try to keep this very G, or at the very most PG, but I do like to have the Midnight Cafe, which is a radio show that I've been doing for over, oh my gosh, I feel old. I've been doing this show now for over 20 years. For a while, we were broadcasting overseas. We had a contract overseas. That has ended, unfortunately. I still do the show here on my pirate radio station. For those of you who are watching, I did have my friend there, Rockin' Woody, now got an FM transmitter. He's going to be setting it up in Raleigh. I was hoping to get down there before all this went down, but it just didn't work out. So we're going to get it set up. He's going to be simulcasting. So I'm going to be up here on AM 1670. He's going to be down there on an FM channel. He hasn't figured out what channel he's going to broadcast on. Looking for a relatively clear channel down there. So that'll be kind of cool. Let's see where we're at here. Sorry if I'm skipping over people. Mike wanted to know what my call sign. Sorry, my chair keeps collapsing. I think the shock's bad on it. Mike wants to know what my call sign on ham radio is. Mike, here's the thing, and I would love to give that out to you. I actually don't give out my call sign on ham radio because the database, people who maybe don't like me or would want to cause me problems or harm would then immediately know exactly where I live, what kind of car I drive, and so on and so forth. And so even though I put myself out here on the internet, I'm actually a very private person in the real world. So yeah, I don't like to give out my call sign. And there's a lot of YouTubers out there that, they're like YouTube name is their call sign, and good for them, but holy cow, that just seems so risky. I guess I'm a little paranoid about that. So sorry about that, Mike, but I can't, I just don't feel comfortable giving that out. Chuck Dog, good evening, my friend. Good to see you in here. Orange Man, good. How do you feel about the stimulus package? Seems fishy to 3x the GDP for a 2-week work stoppage. I find it disturbing. that they don't really haven't released the full 1,000 pages or 1,100 pages, whatever it is. Certainly, so many pockets are being stuffed with so much money out of that. But, and I am not one that likes it when the government hands out money. I don't particularly want the check. I don't think it's going to help us long term. But what I will say is this: the situation we're all in here is significantly unique. The world in a modern era is a lot different than any other time that we've gone through this. The Great Depression, I think it was something like 50 to 60% of people were somewhat self-sufficient. I think, what is it? I mean, 5-10%. I'm probably in the minority, and I'm not self-sufficient. You see the picture that I have up here with me tonight. That's one of our gardens. I have been working an awful lot this last week and a half, 2 weeks. Actually, we've been working a lot since January, but weather-wise, there's only times that we can be out there. But I've expanded all of the barns. I've built new barns. I've built new gardens. We've made raised beds. We are preparing to self-sustain for an indefinite period of time. That being said, it's just not economically or possible. It's just not possible. How many people live in apartments or townhomes or condos? They simply can't garden. And while I feel like that's a societal issue that probably needs to be addressed at some point, it's not going to get addressed before this crisis is over with. So I feel like the government is doing the best that they can in the situation they're in. I'm worried about hyperinflation or other forms of collapse, but there's really nothing I can personally do to it. What I recommend to everyone, friends and family and enemies alike, is that you prepare. You just continue to prepare. Obviously, for some people, financially, they're not able to stockpile things, which is fine. We don't have a large stockpile. What I stockpile mainly is the food that we can every year. I'm blessed that I have a farm. I'm blessed that I have animals that provide me with meat and gardens that provide me with vegetables. And when we have those vegetables, we can that stuff. So we do have the ability, to self-sustain somewhat. I usually provide about 50% of the food for my family right here on the farm. But you know what I don't provide for myself here is feed for the animals. So even my farm has a major Achilles heel when we get right down to it, because I can produce a small amount of hay, but I can't produce, like chick feed, that kind of stuff, or stuff for, well, we don't have a goat right now, but you know what I mean. Like, a goat kind of self-forages if you want them to, but when it comes to chickens, they're omnivores, but you really can't let them in the wintertime without food feed alone. So yeah, Mike's saying you can sow oats. True, and it's like there's all these things in my life that I want to get to, that I wanted to make this farm into. And of course, we're always preparing, but this happened before we were done. And I doubt there's anybody who was 100% ready for anything that comes their way in life. But I feel like we're in a decent position here to survive at least the next 30 days as this plays out. We've locked the gates to the farm, and we don't intend to leave for any reason. We don't have to, thankfully. We have fresh water, and as you saw, I'm adding solar here on the property, so we'll have the ability to generate some power here without needing to burn fuel. I do stock fuel here. We have fuel to run the equipment at least for a few months, so we should be good with that. But certainly not enough fuel to be running a generator or whatnot. I don't expect power to be an issue here or anything like that too. Gary Flannery saying, oh gosh, let me roll back up because a couple of y'all had some great ones. Mike saying he understands why I won't give that out. I appreciate that, my friend. It's nothing personal. It's just, the internet is full of very interesting folks. Star Wars Rosie says, help me pass the exam so I can get a call sign. I would love to, man. I don't know how I could help you with that, but I certainly will try if I can. Cat Lover, I didn't know about the call sign, so thank you for that. Yeah, it's an interesting issue that I think needs to be addressed, but it hasn't. It needs to be, though. It was okay before the internet. You had these databases, but pretty much only hams had it. And of course, there are some bad seeds in the ham world, let's be honest, just like in CB, just like in anything in life. But, so there you go. Thomas D wants to know, what is an EDC pocket knife? EDC stands for everyday carry. I don't have a pocket knife near me, but just a regular folding pocket knife, Could be $1 one from Walmart or a several $100 custom-made one from some big shot somewhere in the world. Mike Cricket saying we will just get more taxed next year with the stimulus check. Agreed. Like this, there is no such thing as free money. It just kind of it just kind of get us a little bit down the road. The thing that I'm going to say, and it might be different than what I would normally feel, is this is a unique situation. I don't think in '08. I think a lot of the bailouts in '08, I was against. I felt back then like airlines needed to fail. I felt like a lot of companies, the too big to fail. I don't think they were too big to fail. I think they should have been allowed to fail because they had been run with poor management. And somebody made a great comment even this time when they're like, "Oh no, what are we going to do if the airlines go out of business?" Hey, you know what? The planes don't just disappear. They just sit there. The companies go out of business, and people who are smarter buy those planes, start a new business when all the smoke clears out of this mess, and they run it more efficiently. They run it better, and they are successful. If we keep throwing money at a broken system, we keep having a broken system. Now, there's my rant. Okay. Let's see what else we got here. I'm going to read through some of these. I'll try not to comment too much on them. Star Wars Rosie saying the freezer's full of venison, and I'm already fat, all set there. Yeah, I've got my winter gut here, so I've been sweating it out on the farm this week, trying to burn off some of that and get my muscle mass back up top here. Older you get, the harder it gets. Bro Weaver wants to know any comment on the toilet paper hoarders. That was insane. Insane, yes, I agree. What blows me away is they kept saying don't hoard. There's plenty of toilet paper, but I am hearing a lot of people out there who are currently out of toilet paper or down to the last roll, including a few folks in town. So while they shouldn't be hoarding stuff like that, some foresight is not a bad thing in this world. Let me put it like that. Mike talking about sowing oats, no doubt. Oh man, Gary Flannery, I'm seeing more CB radio antennas on cars since this all started. Very wisely, we now know they're tracking all cell phone signals. So once the lockdown goes into effect here on Monday and social distancing or whatever it's called is called into play, yeah, we don't want to have a cell phone in the car. So CB radio is always an awesome way to communicate. I think one of the very first videos I put up here on YouTube talked about the need for CB radio in the modern era, and natural disasters was one of them, probably one of the big ones. So there you go. Orange Man Good, buy Amazon or Walmart stock with your stimulus check. They have been running great profits lately. Yeah, I think all grocery chains are doing well. I heard that Lowe's Home Improvement was hiring. So think about that. The entire we've lost a third of our workforce has gotten laid off or fired or had their hours severely curtailed, and yet your home improvement stores, your food chains, they're doing wonderful, and that's good. Again, like, this is an interesting problem philosophically for like the economy. We're seeing what could morph into the greatest depression, something that makes the Great Depression look like child's play. But I'm almost wondering, and it depends on how this plays out, if this is just the biggest bump in the road that our humanity, at least in my lifetime, will ever see. That this is like a giant plunge off a cliff that quickly crawls its way back out because the demand is there, the profits are still there to be made. It's just that when we're not allowed to spend, when we're not allowed to do this and not allowed to do that, well, obviously things collapse. But the second it goes away, hopefully it bounces back relatively quickly. That's my hope anyway. I hope. Oh gosh, AR Man said, "Dan, I thought he started at 7. Sorry, man. It used to be 8, and then it was 7. I'm getting so old. 6 o'clock is the new 8 o'clock. So apologies, my friend. And I know for you West Coasters, that's got to be really weird. But David G, I'm still gonna watch your live stream on TV. I'm just logging off the chat. No problem, my friend. I hope you're doing well and stay safe up there. Cat Lover, I feel unprepared too. I have a lot, but I don't. I have a lot, but I have a lot, but I don't. It was a lean winter, and we used up a lot of the stockpile. Yeah, I think a lot of folks feel that way. I bet you there's guys, that got $1 million bunkers that are like, oh, geez, if I had just bought another 500 gallons of diesel or something like that, I'd have been A-okay. I think that's just a normal reaction. There's a phrase that I heard years ago, I think during the start of the second Iraq war, that says we don't go to war with the army we want, we go to war with the army we got. And I think that's the case for a lot of people, a lot of homesteaders and those folks that we're trying to prepare throughout the years, but never finished it. We always have dreams and wishes and hopes of how we're going to make things better. So, Bro Weaver saying is reported that gold bullion is impossible to purchase right now. Very interesting. So paper gold collapsed because it's of course not real gold. It's just the promise of something, which is just like any other currency, the promise. So. Interesting. Jordan B says, do you have a recommendation for a site to buy cigars online that is still shipping? I don't, man. I have dude, I'll tell you what. Shoot me an email to Farpoint Farm and tell me what kind of cheap cigars you like, and I will send you some, my friend, because I've got so many cheap cigars right now that I have picked up, and I've really kind of slowed down on smoking. for various reasons. So if you want some, I'd be happy to help you out with that. Wes is chiming in that Famous Smoke Shop in PA is good. Intimidator says, love your site. Got a CB out again. I'm working on my ham license. Good for you, my friend. Good for you. Glad to hear it. PA Prepper, have you started installing the solar yet? No, I just finished making a video yesterday, or today, this morning. Boy, it's been a long day. I purchased a whopper of a lithium battery, a monstrous 5 kilowatt hour battery, 24 volt beast, 200 pounds, man. And I just got it delivered about a week and a half ago via freight. So I am ready to start building the brackets to hold all the solar. So yeah, you're going to see more of that, but I have not gotten that started just yet. So busy here on the farm, man. 9mm AR man saying I have 6 people call me wanting to buy ammo because they keep none stockpiled. Their poor planning is going to fall back on me and my supplies. Right on to that, my friend. I can't argue with that. I have helped out a few people that I would like to have. Well, how do I put this? I would like them shooting in a direction not towards me. So let's hope it stays that way. William Oswald saying thanks for getting me back into radio. Man, I'm glad I could do it. It is my passion. And lately I have not made a lot of radio videos, mostly because I was going to go to the Hamfest in Raleigh. We were going to have a meetup. Well, guess what? That's canceled. A lot of the yard sales, a lot of the flea markets have been shut down already for almost a month, or at least empty. So I haven't gotten any new equipment lately. So it's been hard to make new videos. I haven't been out on the town, so I can't do range test stuff, although I have a few in the queue. I did purchase a new antenna. That's going to come out actually tomorrow. So if you're interested in a CB antenna review, that'll be out tomorrow morning. But yeah, man, I'm glad you're into it because it totally is my hobby. I do play around a lot on this stuff. So, Orange Man, good. Farming is hard work. That's why I sold my cattle. Man, you ain't kidding. Whew. And I don't know. I've never had an actual cow. We've had goats and pigs and chickens and turkeys and rabbits, and I love them all to death. But yeah, man, they are hard work. Just keeping up with the farm, keeping the fences mended, and making adjustments and taking care of things that fail. Animals are tough on farms, man. They just tend to wreck the place. There you go. What's the email? The email is, oh gosh, does somebody know what the email is? It's Farpoint. I think it's farpointfarms.survival@gmail.com. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. DC Volts, we are all holed up here in Southeast West Virginia. You guys won the war, man. You guys were the last ones to catch a case. So good for you. Hope you are well and set up. We are ready. The gates are locked, and we're ready for the 30 days that they are requiring us to be in here. I'm expecting it to go a lot farther than that, and quite frankly, behind the scenes, from what I'm hearing, a lot of folks are expecting it to go a lot farther than that. So, William Oswald, it's a great battery. I love it. Yeah, man, it's a monstrous lithium battery, and I'm hoping that it does the trick for us for right now, because again, we go to war with the army we got. Let's see here. Jonathan Lovelady, I recently put my CB back out and I'm enjoying it. Isn't it cool? And let me tell you guys, for those of you who are just getting back into the hobby right in this last month because of what's going on here, this is a terrible month to get into it because the skip, other than a little bit today, has been fairly dead, and so long distance contacts probably not as awesome as they usually are. Biggest disappointment, no zombies. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, trust me, they'll be here. Just give it a month or two. They'll be a kind of zombie when they all start detoxing, man. And they're going to be just as dangerous as the real ones, trust me. Troy 074, sorry I made it. I'm late. Good to see you, my friend. Kenny Harden, hi from Wyoming. Good thing I live on my own farm with times being what they are. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. As insulated as you can be, my friend. And glad to see you on the show tonight. Orange Man, good. The interstates are empty and Channel 19 is hopping right now. Yeah, I think it's a good time to get into radio. Let's just put it that way for sure. There it is, Minnesota Prepper. Thank you for putting that out. Farpoint.farm.survival@gmail. Please, anybody, feel free to shoot me emails on that or keep in contact with me on that. I try to answer messages, but as I put out in my stuff recently, I'm slammed busy. I mean, it's spring anyway, so spring on the farm is always a busy time. But holy cow, it's a little bit more busy, and you'll be seeing. And I'm going to start uploading 3, possibly 4 videos a week here. While we're locked in, I've got so much going on. I've just been shooting videos, and I already had and this is kind of funny. So I had 30 videos that I'd already filmed that were in the queue to be uploading. So some of this stuff is midwinter. Some of this stuff might even have been late fall, and some of this stuff will be current. So when you see videos, like right now, I'm back to the goatee. A lot of the videos have the beard. It's going to be mix and match. But that's all part of the magic of the internet, right, folks? Some Pearson says you need to stop having things delivered. There are cases inside distribution centers, and it can live on surfaces. Yes, sir, you are correct, and we have. In fact, a week and a half ago was the last time we had something delivered. It was delivered by UPS Freight, and that was it. Yeah, and that's it. When there's some things that, of course, we would love to have, but can't have it, man. Cat lover, you were told to stay at home for 30 days. We haven't had that yet. Yes, we have. Yeah, North Carolina, governor came out Friday afternoon, said Monday at 5 is shelter in place. Last I heard, they're talking about maybe locking down cities for full quarantine. Not in our state, but in states around us. And I expect that to kind of go worldwide. Well, William Oswald saying Skip was good in Indiana today. That's cool, man. Orange Man good. What about the zombies at Walmart for toilet paper? Yeah. Man, that was something else, and I do feel bad for anybody. There's some pictures. And I know this is kind of corporate media bull. Well, I almost swore there that I hate, but there were some photographs out there of elderly people who were, unable to do their shopping, and it really does pull on the heartstrings. You feel bad for those that are unable to take care of themselves. There's a lot of people that can take care of themselves but don't, and I feel zero mercy for those folks. But I do feel a lot of compassion for folks that are elderly or are unable to get out easily, have to have a wheelchair or whatnot, or rely on public service to get this stuff, and for them to go without, it does hurt. Others say Jonathan saying Skip was wild in Louisiana too. Boy, maybe just I wasn't really in the garage today. I would say I was around the property a lot. I learned not to have an amp on while talking on FM. Huh. That's interesting, Eddie. I'd love to hear more on why that is. Well, I don't currently. Well, I do. Oh, actually, my radio that does FM is currently off for repairs. Unfortunately, the beautiful Ranger, the RCI Ranger, is it broke. So I had to send it off for repairs. Picked a heck of a time to blow up on me. S Walker 157 on the local repeater today. Some guys were talking about how to get more people into radio. It would be a sin. Would it be a sin to recommend CB as a gateway? Heck no, my man, dude. The older I get, the harder it is for me to figure out new tech anyway. And ham radio versus CB radio. Ham radio is like, there are parts of ham radio that is quite sophisticated when you're transmitting on one and you have to have channel offset or this DMR stuff. Now, ham radio is a little more difficult. It's certainly a little harder. So when you get CB, you got 40 channels, you add sideband in there, one extra switch, 3 extra modes. I would say CB is certainly a way to get somebody interested, get them into it. If they really like that, then they feel a need to go out and get something better and and say, hey, I want to talk to the whole world, not just the parts that are open. So I think that's kind of how I feel about that. 9mm AR man, a Facebook friend posted newsfeed should be renamed to event feed due to all the complaining. My guess, yeah. No, I don't think so. Yeah, well, the on the dispensary thing in Colorado, they were considered critical infrastructure and forced to remain open. You don't want all these people jonesing, bro. Same reason here in North Carolina, they left the ABC liquor stores, the places that sell booze. Those places are considered critical infrastructure. The government knows that you're going to have enough of a problem with the highly addictive illicit drugs and those people when they're no longer able to get that, and what they're going to do. And their normal revenue stream, how they go and rob people and steal from stores that are now not going to be open to get the money to get those things are closed. So you're going to see that zombie effect for real. It's going to be kind of scary. I actually worry about that more than I worry about the virus itself at this point. So gardening videos, perhaps. Yes, my cricket. Lots of garden videos. Raised beds, new barns, new fencing, all kinds of good stuff. Minnesota Prepper saying, I wish more people use CBS. My FRS radio is hopping now. Oh, interesting. I'll have to turn that on. I haven't had mine on in ages. I do have a new antenna that I put up this weekend, and I'm going to be, we'll do a video on it, but I got to get my scanner. I have the Radio Shack scanner that I got, the second one. I'm going to be putting that inside the house. I'm going to leave that on, programmed to some more used frequencies in the area, just to be keeping an eye on what's going on around me here. 9mm AR man saying he's doing his shopping for his parents, the neighbor with a health condition, and anyone who needs it. And you're wearing your mask all the time. Good for you. So let me tell you my good deed for the day, boys and girls. About 3 weeks ago when I knew that this thing was going to blow. The place that I work part time, I had access to several hundred masks, N95 masks for the automotive stuff. You know, we deal with asbestos and whatnot, and I gave them to all the upper management before I left because I knew they probably were going to need it more than me. I've lived a pretty good life, but the folks I was working with are a lot younger, and they have bigger families and brighter futures than me. So that was my good deed for the day. I gave those away, gave some to a coworker, gave the rest of them to upper management, and bailed. I have about 6 of them for myself, but again, I don't intend to leave this property until they sound the all clear. So I really felt like it wasn't nice or normal of me to want to keep those for myself. Man, I'm there's so many comments here. I'm trying to get through them all, guys. I love it though. 50 people online, man. That's great. If you could hit a thumbs up, man, that'd be awesome. I appreciate that if you do that. Bro Weaver saying local 2 meter repeater has a net every night during the emergency. That's awesome. I am hoping that kind of does that. We have a channel 14 here. We get together on the weekends, and I'm going to try to get that going where maybe we throw out some more information, get some more people into it. Jordan B said he bought a case of powdered eggs from overeasy.com, and they have a 3-year shelf life. Tastes great. Good, man. Yeah. I would probably start crying if I lost eggs. I'd be jonesing for that because I kind of live on them. Stu Brennan, hello from Gold Bar, Washington. Glad I live up here in the Cascade Mountains. Stay well. Beautiful place. I was in the Cascades last year, my friend, over the summer when I went to pick up. I don't know if you can see it, but the little piece of that silver car behind me, that's a Volkswagen Rabbit truck. I went up to Washington to get that and drove that sucker back across country. Beautiful part of the country, man. Oh my gosh. So many. Gun stores are essential services in Illinois, says the government. That's good. I did hear he balked at the let's shut him down thing, so good for him. That's probably the first nice thing he guy's ever done. 9mm arrow, man, just read today, Massachusetts. Wow. Wow, okay, so some states are shutting those down. I think that's going to be a bad idea, but whatever. Yeah, that's interesting. I think that's just going to add to the misery that's going to come down here. A lot of people are addicted to a lot of things, and I think that those people are going to have the hardest time of this. That shelter in place, or worse yet, if we get a full-fledged quarantine, it's going to be tough on addicts, man. That's going to be tough on addicts, and be careful because there's a lot of people who are going to lose their bananas when that goes down. Cat lover, I say that too. I'm more afraid of others freaking out than the virus. Yeah, agreed. Anyone got an anyone AT666? You have one of those anyone A? Okay, I have a unit in 980. I love it. The Mako 5000. I've never heard a bad thing about that. Anytone, is that a decent radio? It looks pretty cool. Hey man, Swamp Fox must be nice. Picture we're getting rid of the snow here in Northwest Michigan. The ground is still frozen. So dude, it was like 70 here today, and that's very unusual. Usually we're still getting snow here. This has been a very mild winter here in the mountains. So we usually get snow and misery all the way up through mid-April. But we've already got trees budding. I know what's going to happen, man. All my fruit trees are going to get toasted because they're already starting to flower. And it's such a bummer because I need that fruit this year to can. We're going to be burning through what we have. So I'm hoping somehow, miracle about miracles, we don't get a hard freeze between now and about 3 weeks from now. But they're already calling the forecast for a freeze next week. So it's such a shame, man. Troy 074, any suggestions for the first time user with sideband? The weather is getting better and I'm going to be installing my new McKinley. You are going to love it. So unwritten rules of sideband. You are going to be operating between channels 36 and 40 most of the time for sideband. Most of the time you're going to be operating on lower sideband. And the clarifier is how you're going to tune that robotic voice out to make it sound normal again. But you're going to love it. So I would say CB is CB. Sideband is more like ham. It's getting your feet wet into ham. You're going to be able to talk to the world. I talked to people in Italy, not this year, but in years gone by. I talked to people in Italy. I've talked to people in Australia, Canada, Mexico, Brazil one day. I mean, it's just incredible when the skip rolls in what you can do on sideband. So, and that's just with the stock radio, man. That McKinley is a great radio. Rock and Rod, I got my IMAX 2000 hooked up last week. A few locals still hanging in there, but no skip conditions. Yes. Yeah, no skip here either. A couple of them were commenting that they were skipping their areas. But, I mean, again, I haven't really had time to sit here in the garage. I've been so busy with the farming. But every time I have had a chance to turn it on, man, nothing. It's such a bummer. William Oswald, love it, man. Swan Fox 70s, that's messed up. We're just hitting the 50s. Yeah, so a normal temp this time of year for us is about 45, about 30, right around freezing at night. And of course, we can have some snow this time of year, but it has not been that way. I actually got a burn today. I had to take my shirt off. I was so hot out there building the barn, and I got burned. So quite unusual for this time of year, man. Jonathan Lovelady was 78 and 92 yesterday. Boy, oh boy. Gary said, do you know of any place I can buy a new SAM unit of a car? I hate to go to the dealer, but I can't find any at the parts store. A new SAM. I'm not sure what a SAM unit of a car. Hit 90 down in Florida, Jeff. Wow, that's crazy, man. Wow, let's see. What time is it? Oh my gosh, we're already 30 minutes in. Well, we'll talk here for a little bit longer. If any of you guys have not logged or ever gone on to the Midnight Cafe's YouTube channel, so I have a second channel. For a while, we were doing a weekly show, and then it went to monthly, and then it just went to sporadically. What I recommend, if you ever want to, sometimes I'll go on there and do like a live broadcast, just spur of the moment. So I would subscribe to it if you want to follow these kind of live chats with me. I would subscribe to it, and I would also hit the little bell icon, because on that one it's so random when I do go live. It's probably better just to get the little ping, and if you're if you're able to join, that's awesome. So Dallas Rife, hello my friend. Hey Eric, it's good to see you on the air. You're not going to believe this, but I'm at work. Dallas, I thought they pulled the plug on you last Friday, man. Don't you work at a security at a base? I thought they sent civvies home. Dallas, it does not surprise me, though, that you were at work. I think about every time that we've had these shows, you've been at work. But I'm glad to see you in here, my man. It's been a very interesting month, hasn't it, my friend? Uh, yeah, I don't know, Gary. I don't know where else you would get it. Rock Auto, online store, eBay, Amazon. Sometimes I buy a lot of engine parts off of Amazon, and although like they're saying, some of these places are having cases inside them, so if they've coughed on your box, it's not a good sign. Isn't it interesting that we're getting information that like, oh, it lasts like 6 hours on hard surfaces, and then we're like, oh, it lasts like 14 days on hard surfaces. Nobody knows, man. I swear nobody knows. It's just crazy. Still wide open, huh, Dallas? That's crazy, man. The ghost here in my pizza shop are not afraid of coronavirus. Oh no, I just said it. Well, that's it. We're banned. I'm probably not kidding. We probably are. So that'll be that. They'll be pulling the plug on this feed here in a few minutes. Uh, work at Publix. Rudy says works at Publix. Trying to keep you guys fed. Yeah, critical infrastructure, man. Good for you. I appreciate you doing that for us. I have family that works in retail that is considered critical infrastructure as well. They're still doing it. We here at the farm, though, we pulled the plug on going out of town, so we're just here. We're here. We've been here about just shy of 2 weeks already, and now we have a 30-day lockdown. I imagine they'll extend that, but who knows? But I would say we got, I could probably hang in here for 60 or 75 before I start wanting cravings for some fresh milk or something like that. Other than that, we're pretty good. Should have kept the goats. My loss, man. Could have had goat milk every morning, but nope. Eddie Fisher says, sorry, didn't know. In and out, didn't know the rules. Yeah, so, they're just censoring the crap out of stuff right now. And if you talk about any of the stuff that related to that and actually mention it, well, then, you're considered evil, obviously evil. We're all evil because we have free will and free minds. So how dare we? Only listen to approved sources, my friend, okay? Shane Sullivan, hi, for your lawnmower vid. I just sold 3 weed whackers and a mower. No kidding, Shane. Well, you're better than I am. I pulled two. I had 2 beautiful tractors that I had that ready to sell, and I took them out, washed them, took pictures of them, put them on Facebook, and like I swear it was like 20 hours later, they came down with the where we're locked down. So for at least the next 30 days, there will be no sales here at Farpoint Farms, and probably not a bad idea either. But it is what it is. It's kind of a bummer. William saying going to a brewery and get some hand sanitizer. Yeah, man. Yeah, that's not a still. I'm just making hand sanitizer. Oh gosh, 9mm AR, man. Wife works in 4th grade at the local elementary school. Officially shut down until May 4th, but nobody thinks they'll be back this year. All I can say is married couples aren't meant to be together. Let's You know what? Let's wrap up this half hour and talk about that because I am seeing a lot of that online. I am wondering about that. So, okay, first of all, good for your wife working as a public servant like that. It's a great job, difficult job. What I'm seeing a lot online is people who, and this is going to cause some hate, but what I heard that really struck a chord with me was the thought of outsourcing, that a lot of families outsource their whole lives. You know, we send our kids off to school. We send our family, you know, parents, we go off and work at jobs, or, you know, at least one usually does. And so we don't spend a lot of time together. And so what we're seeing as a society, and you're hitting the nail right on the head there, is that when our families come back together and then they're forced to be with each other, we find out that we're not all that compatible. And that's a sad thing. I wonder, you know, how many divorces are going to be caused by this? How many? I was talking with some fellows in law enforcement the other day, and they're talking about how they've already seen major upticks in violence, you know, spousal abuse, that kind of stuff, where they're getting a lot more calls for domestic disputes. And they expect that as this goes on, that's going to lead to a higher death rate among people who are just literally kill each other because they can't take it anymore. That I found that to be really interesting, and I'm not saying this in like as like a dig on anybody. I'm blessed. My wife and I, you know, for the most part, get along pretty well. We work well together, and that's what's important, especially if you're going to be small farmers. We have to. Like today, we were both outside working on a dang barn, which is crazy, but it is what it is. Um, and so I feel for you, AR man, and maybe you'd like to tell me some of the trials and tribulations that you're having. And for those of you who have kids who have come home and are now stuck at home, kind of like summer, but not like summer, because now we don't send them to the grandparents' house, we don't send them to friends' houses. They are literally with us, and so I'm interested in seeing how that plays out. I have a GT52 XLSI, same one you used to have, waiting to eventually replace the headlights with regular bulbs. Just thinking of buying a GT52 XLS with a grill. That would definitely work. The plug is the same now. I think that's how you pronounce it now. Uh, Guess what? I bought another garden tractor. So I have a Husqvarna TS354D, and I've been making a bunch of videos on it. I just haven't had a chance to upload it. So I'm back in the game. It did come with regular headlights, thankfully. They got rid of the smart switch, thankfully. So it's a great tractor. I always loved the one that I had. Had to sell it to make some money at the time. This year I found one. I won't give it away, but in the video I'll tell you how I got one heck of a cool deal on it. So good for you. I love that tractor though, man. It just felt wrong not having a garden tractor on a farm that literally made its start, made the bread and butter of it off of a garden tractor. Orange Man Good, will the birth rate jump due to the lockdown? Yes, and for another reason. So elective surgeries are gone, and not to get into the politics of what that means, but I think we can read a little deeper into what that means as far as the birth rate. So that happens, and I'm not for or against that. I'm just making that comment. Also, read just before I came out here that condom factories are shutting down to work on latex gloves and stuff like that. No more necessary items that are needed. So we're going to see a shortage of one thing, lockdown on the other, and yeah, people spending time together. So for those of you who aren't trying to choke each other out, well, you'll probably be doing something else, right? 9mm AR man saying they're doing online classes with students. Yeah, so I work a little bit in the teaching industry with automotive, and even the colleges are going online here, and high schools and middle schools. I hear that's going like nationwide. I'm not sure how well that's going to work. I hope it works out, but there's so many folks here who are economically disadvantaged or in a part of the counties that don't have access to internet at all, and may not even have cell phones in many cases, or like my house, we don't have cell reception here, which is fine with me. So I wonder how that's going to work. I'm glad that they're trying to do that so the kids don't just sit there, you know, staring at the wall. But that's interesting, yeah. Gary saying schools are shut down in mass until the 4th. Yeah, I think in North Carolina it's to the 15th, but it's. I agree. I don't see us coming back to school this year. I think we roll it through to the fall, and that's if we're lucky. Let's be honest. This thing could go either way. Bobby Scott chiming in saying hello, good evening everyone. Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. Oswald saying be prepared is a scout way of life. Yeah, and I think if you paid attention to some of my videos the first year I was on here, I don't focus on the homesteading part of this as often as I probably should. There's enough homesteaders and preppers and survivalists on YouTube. I just do my own thing. but it is a part of my life. So I do believe in being prepared. I did do a thing on a get home bag once upon a time, and that's kind of what I did. It's like we have insurance, and no one laughs at anybody having insurance. We have insurance because we don't expect to get into a crash, but it's good that if we get into a crash, we're prepared. We're ready for it. We've got the insurance, and I think that's what the Boy Scout motto is. I think that's the way of life for people. I found it kind of comical when people were criticizing folks for like stockpiling a little bit here at the beginning of all this mess, and now everyone wishes they had done that a little bit more. Another quote for y'all that I read somewhere or heard somewhere was some guy saying everything that happens before an event like this will seem, extreme, and everything that we did after the fact will seem like it wasn't enough. So I think that's exactly what we're witnessing here in the real world. Cat Lover saying, "Do you TikTok?" I do not. I don't know how to do that. I've heard of it. My mom was asking me just the other day to do that and something called Zoom. But for all the internetness that you see me on here, I'm very not savvy when it comes to technology. Down in the holler, hello from Virginia. Good to see you again, my friend. Some person, hello. 9mm AR, man, in my opinion, elementary school classes don't translate well into online classes. True, really, I think, especially at the elementary level, what you're doing is you're teaching interpersonal relations, interaction, and to be homeschooled, while I'm not against it at any means, does a disservice to that part. We need to be acclimated to society because we're going to be in it whether we want to for the rest of our lives. Whether you choose to homeschool your children or not is a totally different opinion, and you're welcome to do so. I'm not against it by any means, but I believe that interaction needs to be a part of the process of growing up, or we're going to end up with a pretty wacky society. Luckily, this isn't going to last, forever. So hopefully. Southwalker 157, my college went online, and it's amazing how many electrical engineers can't use online meeting apps. Yeah, old people, man. It's old people. I'm sorry. I don't. Yeah, I struggle hard with a lot of that stuff. You know what you know, and the older you get, the more likely you are to say, I don't really want to know any more than what I know, which is a bad thing, but it is a thing. Bro Weaver, thoughts on 5G? I heard that it was a reason for the, to install 5G that will harm your immune system. It's possible. I honestly, I have heard a lot of bad crap about 5G, but then again, think about it, folks. We are living in an era where radio transmissions and wireless transmissions are literally permeating the air. Whether it's that G or another G or no matter what the transmission level or power level, I think it certainly has an effect on us. But I have no idea what that effect might be. I know there are some serious concerns about it, and I'm sure time will tell whether it's frying our brains or whatnot or killing our immune systems. But it is interesting, no doubt. Boyd Hudson, hello from Hillsborough, North Carolina. Well, there you go. I used to live in Moncure, North Carolina, down off the mountain. That's about 45 minutes from Hillsborough, maybe. Kenny Harden, they've closed schools in Wyoming till the 17th. Yeah, I think a lot of people are pulling that, first May, mid-May, something like that. But I honestly feel like, it's not coming back. So, Orange Man's coming in from Sneedville. Good to see you. Of course, we've been talking for a while now. Down the holler, Eric, I have a 980 SSB in my truck. I want to put a simple CB in my wife's car. Uniden 505 or Cobra 19 DX4. I am not being paid to say this, but I am madly and deeply in love with the President Bill. It's a little bit more than the Cobra 19 DX, but it has features that the 505 or the 19 do not have. Namely, that is, it has the weather channel, and it has some preset functions. You can, program in some channels as your function channel, and it's just a really good little compact radio. It's also not going to take up a bunch of room in your car. So yeah, I know, man. I know I do a lot of work with the President Corporation. Thankfully, I can't say how blessed I am to have a CB radio company that thinks highly enough of me to send me products to review every once in a while. And I love them for that. But they don't pay me to say nice things about their radios. They send me the radios and tell me if I like them, great. If not, please don't bash us too hard. Thankfully, I've never had to do that. I mean, they make great radios. The McKinley rocks. The Bill and the Andy were good. And what have I got now? The Walker. I just was playing with it the other day. I actually shot a video with it. A beautiful radio. But for a wife like mine, I put the Bill in her car, and now I put it in my new truck. But I think the President Bill is an awesome radio if you can swing it. Unit in 880 is also a great radio, yeah, no doubt. Bobby Scott agreed on elementary schools needing kids needing the interaction. I think that's just I think so, yeah, and I think that can happen to all of us. You know, I freely admit that I spend a lot of time here isolated before all this. I live here, you know, and I'm a farmer first, and when I'm not farming, I restore cars, but I'm self-employed and I flip cars and I buy equipment and flip equipment. So my interaction with humans is not all that great. And while I do work a part-time job, doing some teaching myself, I don't spend a ton of time with people, and the time I do spend with people is not really interaction; it's more addressing. So I'm guilty of that. I think I probably my whole life as a mechanic, you know, we hide in the dark. We do our thing in the back of the building, and we don't really interact with people all that much. So I'm guilty of that myself. But I think it's probably the number one skill any human can learn is good social interaction. So. The president makes great radios. Yes, I agree. She doesn't want one at all. Then the bill is perfect down in the holler because it's so small. When she doesn't need it, she won't notice it. That's what my wife said. She says, at least it's not in my way. Let's see. Eddie Fisher, Golden Eagle Mach 5. Well, now that's a big one there, buddy. Destiny 2019. Hey, can you do more CB videos? So, yeah, you probably missed the beginning of the night, but I totally would love to. I do have a video coming out tomorrow on a brand new antenna that I put up here at the house that is a CB antenna and a scanner antenna and a ham antenna. It's just an all-around cool antenna. But the reason you haven't seen a ton of CB radio videos out of me is that I rely on either companies sending me radios to look at and play with. More than that, though, I go out to flea markets and I go to yard sales and I go to ham fests and CB fests and all that stuff, and I find radios and I buy them, then I play with them, and then I resell them, and I make videos, of course, for y'all. The thing is that about a month and a half ago, all that it's the winter time is not a great time to go to outdoor flea markets in this area anyway, but right about the time that was starting to end, this whole worldwide calamity started to come up with this mess. So not been great to get my hands on radios to play with. That being said, I do have I have a Radio Shack one and I picked up for like $5 at a Goodwill right before all this mess started. So I'll make a video of that. And he's not in here tonight, but Mower Junkie, it's his fault. I'm putting the darn thing on that new mower, that mud mower I made. But if we put it on that, I already got the antenna mounted, so that's his fault. Also, I'll make some videos on that, I promise. And I will be making more. And I apologize. I know, 50-60% of the people come to this channel for the CB ham stuff. And I wish I were independently wealthy and had all the free time in the world that I could do that. But I don't. I have to make the Baofeng Part 2. I have that Baofeng radio, and I haven't even made Part 2 of that. I mean, it's just been so busy here. But I'm trying, I promise. So hang in there, and I hope you're not too bored with the other stuff that I put out. Orange Man Good, I've recently heard the quality of new Cobras is way down. I can no longer recommend a new Cobra. I'm sorry. And it sucks because Cobra was the king of all radios back in the day. But Cat Lover, no, my wife is not a nurse. She actually works in retail, or did, until about a week and a half ago. So, yeah, now she's a homesteader like me. Galaxy is a great radio, no doubt. Boyd Hudson, which would be your preference, a Galaxy base or use the McKinley as a base station? You talking about one of them big Galaxies, man? Like the really cool ones, all the buttons and knobs and dials? Because if you're going with that, I'm going to say yes. I've never owned a Galaxy because they're like really expensive. But I'm all about buttons and knobs and dials, man. So I would say probably the Galaxy just because it looks super cool. But I can tell you the McKinley is awesome. And there's a lot of times that I feel like taking the unit in 980 that I use my base station here, pulling it out, putting it in the car, and bringing the McKinley in here as my base station. Because I think the McKinley is a better radio than the 980. And that's not to say the 980 is a bad radio in any way, but I think the McKinley has a few extra features, and I dig them. So, and again, they're not paying me to say that. The McKinley it's just a cool radio, man. So as far as cabling, RG213 or LMR400, I'm going to be probably buck the system here and say the RG213. LMR400 is like a solid core cable inside of it. Like it's a solid piece of copper, kind of like a power conduit. So where RG213 is a bunch of smaller fibers, so it flexes a lot easier. As far as line loss, man, unless you're talking like a 500-foot tower or something like that, I doubt you'll notice a difference between the two. And the 213 is way easier to work with. So I can answer that with my personal opinion there. Jaspel CB versus FMRS or GMRS. Okay, so for um, everyday communication, CB 100%. For communicating between my wife and I on the farm, like if she's down taking care of one thing, I'm up here doing something else, we keep those rechargeable GMRS radios that I got as Aliwiz, I think it is, Aliwiz radios. I have two of them. They're rechargeable. They have rubber ducky antennas. They're just great. You just clamp them on and they're good to go. So. It says cool. I hang out on 38 lower sideband and have Galaxy base. Yeah, that's sweet, dude. There's like awesome. I think the giant Galaxy base stations are like the Cobra 2000 of the modern era. As far as like they're just cool. Hey, thanks, man. My videos are great. I don't know about that. They're certainly unique. They're definitely mine. Rock and Rod, I have a Galaxy Saturn that needs a technician. Do you have any recommendations? I don't, man. Like everybody's gone around here. I'll tell you what, though. I don't know if Dallas Rife, if he's still in here, but I sent the radio. Actually, he gave me. I sent it to his technician, so maybe he can give you that info. And because he's obviously a good guy with a screwdriver there to fix that up. So. Kenny's, that's a nice compliment. Thank you, Kenny. Any video you put out is worth the watch. Well, I appreciate that. It's, I always say this. For those of you who are here tonight, you've probably heard me say this before, but, a lot of YouTube channels, it's like watching a show. It's like watching Growing Pains, or it's like watching, Lost or whatever. Figure out what show it is. And I'm dating myself. Obviously, I don't watch a lot of TV anymore, but, my channel, the way I think of it is it's like a channel for real. At 8 o'clock you'll be learning about CB radios, and at 9 o'clock you might be learning how to fix a flat tire. It's a bunch of shows on one channel, so you might tune in and get something you like. You might tune in and say, man, I don't care about it. This is stupid. So it is what it is, though. Freelancer saying uses the McKinley as a base as well. Right on, brother. Orange Man Good, have you ever considered starting a Farpoint Farms or Midnight Cafe CB net so we can all communicate with each other in these lockdown situations? I was thinking about maybe trying, and I could throw it out here on the channel in the is it chat, or I can't remember, wherever it is I post like pictures and comments. And maybe say, hey, let's try a Friday night net or something like that, and try it at a certain time. So if you think that'd be cool with you guys, I could definitely do that. Let me give it some thought over the weekend, and maybe on Monday I'll post up a time that we could all meet Eastern time, and we could all meet and kick on the radios, try a certain channel, and see if we can communicate. How's that sound? Boy, let's see here. Sergio 302, yo, your channel inspired me to fix up an old 80s Simplicity 6216 I found for $50. Probably costing me as much to fix it as, but I'm having fun. Awesome, dude. I love messing with old tractors. I've got two new ones, one old one new one, and I've been doing some work on them. I got a bunch of videos in the queue. For those of you who are just like tuning in right now, I've got so many videos. I must have, I think it's over 30 videos at this point that are already filmed, and I'm filming an average of about 3 videos a day right now because I'm working so much out here. So you're going to see 3 videos a week at minimum. You'll probably see 4 videos a week, and bear in mind, some videos are going to take place like, in the last couple of days. Some of the videos I'm posting are probably going to be pretty old ones. I know I've got ones from over Christmas when my wife was away, where I was doing food reviews, and I know how exciting those are for everyone, so you can look forward to that. Rock, I don't know. My wife told me you're on. Good to see you. There you go. Good. I'm glad to see. So she turned you on to the fact that I was live, man. Good to see you in there. Jonathan Lovelady, I'm using a Connex 33 for a base. Great old radio, man. Those were good radios, man. Well, not old, but good radio. Freelance FRLNCR. Mike's Radio Repair in Fairfield, Penn. Best repair guy. Is Mike okay? Is that the guy that was doing videos? Because I haven't seen a new video out of Mike forever, and I was worried that maybe he had a heart attack or worse, or maybe he just gave up on YouTube. But I loved watching. He was kind of a soothing voice, and he was always up to good stuff. By the way, guys and gals, if you would be so kind, if you haven't hit the like button, if you would be so kind as to do that for me, that helps the channel out in some small way for the algorithms, you know. Let's see here. Have you binge watched Tiger King on Netflix? Yes, due to shelter-in-place rules. No, but I saw something about that. Apparently, it's a hilarious, like, documentary or docudrama or whatever the heck it is. So I will look at that when I get time. Here's how my days have been working here. I get up about 5 a.m. and have breakfast, and I look at a lot of your messages, and I do try to comment on some of that stuff. And then I'm usually out the door by about 7 outside working, and I come in for lunch, and I do watch usually some YouTube videos at lunchtime, and usually they're about the horrifying situation we're all find ourselves in the middle of. I go back out and work, and I usually come back in right about this time, about 7 o'clock at night, and take a shower, have some dinner, and then I pass out. My wife loves to laugh about the fact that I go to bed about 8:15, but I go to bed about 8:15, so it is what it is. I guess I'd be fine if the power went out, because isn't that like sun up to sundown pretty much here? Bro Weaver wants to know, how's my CB tower holding up? Very, very good. I'm almost 2 years into it now, and not a problem, man. Like, haven't had to do anything. The old Antron, the SWR is definitely off on it, so it's definitely had its run, but I still use it for listening, and sometimes I just have it hooked up to CB when I'm testing CBs and stuff like that. But I don't transmit very much on it anymore. But the Max 2000 is working great, and love it, man. It really, the $75 40-foot antenna tower really really worked out well. So one of those things where it was kind of like this could go either way, but it did all right. Oh man, there's a lot going on here. Let me see here. No, exactly. Orange Man good, but I think it's oh, cool, man. Orange Man, good. Okay, so Orange Man, that's great. I'd love to talk to you in private. Please don't give that information out. But yeah, anybody of you who contact me via radio, I usually give a slightly closer definition of where I live. But I'm a very private person, and I just don't want visitors. In fact, I have a gate, and it's locked, and and I have about a 1,500-foot driveway. So if I did have a visitor knock on the door, it'd be very bad for everyone, I think. So. Well, oh, okay. Orange Man, I got you. Well, that definitely narrows it down, doesn't it? Boy, thank you for the videos and the input. Hey, man, no problem. I'm glad that I can give some people some help in this world. That is, I think, why we are all here on this planet is not just to have good lives of our own, but to help others. I want to help others. I hope you all want to help others. Megan Boyle, late to the party. Hi, everyone. Hope you are safe and well. Megan, I just filmed a 1-year review of my Mirage, so I'll put that up at some point in the next couple of weeks, but love that car still. I did add something to it. I think you'll get a kick out of it, considering how old I am. It seemed a little bit weird, but I definitely have a reason for it, and I get into it. But I hope you're liking your Mirage, too. Bro Weaver, what is the craziest message you ever got? You mean on YouTube or private messaging? Holy crap, dude. There are people who definitely want to kill me, and that is so weird because I'm not a very opinionated gentleman. I try to look at all sides of every conversation, and but yeah, there's a couple guys, usually radio guys. There's a couple of ham radio guys out there that want me dead because I like CB radio. So sad, but mental illness is a real thing, and it's something that we shouldn't make fun of. It's just something we need to address. I guess that it's out there, and whether I feel like somebody like that would actually follow through, probably not. But I am ready to defend myself if necessary. I guess I'll just leave it at that. That is my backyard. That is my backyard. That's our the upper garden, I call it. We have a lower garden. We have lower barns, middle barns, and now we have another middle barn, or upper middle barn, I guess I should say. And I have plans for 2 more because, quite frankly, I just love having buildings, and I love buildings. So it is a beautiful place to live, and you could stand anywhere on the property and look 360 degrees and not see another house. So I'm blessed, very blessed. I don't expect that to last forever, but I came here. I call this place Farpoint, but I was thinking the other day when I was out there working and building it and thinking about how lucky I am in this current situation compared to so many people who don't even have the privilege of being able to walk outside and get fresh air because they're in an apartment complex or in a townhouse, and it's just not safe to go outside without fear of catching a cold. That this place to me is Eden. That's how I feel, and that was a little bit touchy, I guess, but that's it. Okay, so sorry to get serious there for a second. No problem. I understand, Orange Man. That's good. Yeah, I figured you would. I mean, most people do. It's just it's weird to throw yourself out there online. It was something I struggled with initially, and now I've kind of come to terms with the fact that it's a risk. I've run into people, out on the town that know me, and most of them want to shake my hand. But you always wonder, like you always kind of when somebody's like, "Hey, man," and you've never seen this person before, and they say that to you, you just kind of get a little bit freaky. It's just a little weird. But so far in person, I've never had a bad discussion. In fact, David G met me at Raleigh Hamfest last year. We had lunch. The dude bought me lunch. I was going to buy him lunch. All the times you guys watch my videos and they play an ad or something like that, that makes me, 40, $50 a month usually. So that was my way of giving back. And this year, if there had been a Raleigh Hamfest, I think I put it in the comment section somewhere that we were gonna have a meetup if people wanted to come to Raleigh and meet me at the Hamfest. We could all have lunch, and I was gonna buy lunch. I mean, hot dogs, but still. But that apparently is not gonna happen. They've canceled that one. Let's see here. If you ever hear Freelancer 867 Ontario mobile out there in Skipland, I will certainly do that. In fact. Oh man, I don't have it. I will go back over this and write down that so I can remember that. But I'll certainly keep an ear out for you, my friend. Uh, Love the radio info. I'm new at it. Good man. Everybody's new at it. There are people. There was one guy here last month. The dude commented, like in-depth commenting on every single CB radio I had, fussing me out for being totally inaccurate and wrong, and accusing me of making stuff up, and I'm cool with that, dude. There are always going to be people out there that know a lot more about this stuff than you. I put my videos out, and all my videos are for beginners. They're for people who came out looking for information on a certain subject, and they came to me to hopefully learn about it. But as far as expert level, I don't really put out videos that are expert level. I think that no one would accuse me of that. But this fella apparently felt like perhaps that was the deal. Scott's wanting to know, why did you change from an A99 to a Max 2000? So I have had an A99. That one I was now like 21 years old, I think, up there, and it finally pooped out. And I knew that like the end was coming. The fiberglass is fairly well toast on it. It was fraying, and it was just getting old. And when I decided to build that tower, I thought to myself, if I'm going to put another antenna up there, let me go ahead and do it. And I thought about putting another A99 up there, but then I thought, since I'm going through all this effort to put this big tower, I thought, let me see if I can get a slightly better antenna or a bigger antenna. And I would say, performance-wise, the A99 versus the IMAX 2000, my personal opinion is I have not noticed that much of a difference. So if I were to do it all over again and cost was, what I was looking at, I would go with another Antron. I never hated it or never had a problem with it. In fact, I love the thing, and it kind of breaks my heart that it's finally pooping out in life. So. The Nigerian prince is the craziest thing I ever received. Yeah, we heard Nigeria's got the crud over there now. We're worried about the prince. Hopefully he stays safe over there. Megan's asking if I got potatoes planted, the apple trees. So Megan, we cut up our potatoes today to get ready to plant, and we're gonna let them sit out for a couple days to get a skin on them before we bury them. Apple trees are blooming, peach trees are blooming, pear trees are blooming, plum trees are blooming. Everything is blooming, and the problem is it's too early. This is like we're having really warm weather here, and normally we get a good freeze still. First or second week of April, we could still get snow here. So I am so worried on a year that it is so important to get a good crop off all these trees that this is going to get a hard freeze and kill all these blossoms and just ruin my crop this year. So keep your fingers crossed for us here at the farm. We need to have plentiful fruit to can, because we're definitely burning through our stores with the situation that's going on here right now. Crucialus, I'm sorry, man, I'm butchering that one. I don't have much money. Is Missouri the best option for me to have my own homestead? We came that close to buying a quarter-mile by quarter-mile plot in Missouri, in the Ozarks. Had a pond, had a stream. It was cross-fenced. The entire perimeter was cross-fenced. Had a like 16 by 80 single wide on the property. Had a good-sized barn. Even came with an ATV. And they wanted, I think, $80,000 for it. So the answer is yes, and the answer is also no. Here's why it's yes. Yes, you're getting the best bang for your buck. But if you are going to go there to homestead and you plan on working still, which, I work part time, my wife works part time or did up until a week and a half ago, um, then you're going to have a problem, because the place we looked and it was like 50 minutes, 45 minutes, about the same distance to where we live now, to the nearest town. That town was massively depressed, man. It had one grocery store that was not even a chain grocery store. It had one shop, because I thought, well, I could turn a wrench, at a shop. It had one shop, and it looked like it wasn't even open. And so, that's something you need to look at. When we look at the trade-off for a homesteader is, now if you want to self-isolate completely, then sure, that'd be a great option. But we want to try to find a place that's affordable and yet within distance to a place where you can make a living. And so, look hard and think hard about what exactly it is you want out of a homestead before you pull the plug on that. We opted for a much smaller piece of property, but within a distance to not one but two places where we can make a living. Alex King, same here, Dallas rife with the exception of major retail schools and traffic. Business as usual here in lower Fairfield, Connecticut. Alex King from Fairfield, Connecticut. Man, I went through Westport, Connecticut. I'm talking like 30 years ago. And boy, what a place, boy. All that money. Weston, Westport, Fairfield. You know what? I'm trying to think. Fairfield. I think I went to a mall there. There was a mall in Fairfield. I went there. Had great hot dogs. A couple hot dog joints in that area. But I haven't been up through Connecticut in probably close to 30 years now. But I always enjoyed that, at least in the summertime. I don't know what it's like in the winter, but wonderful. Oh, man, I missed so many of these things. Holy cow. I'm so sorry. I'm missing so many of these comments. Um, Matt McGill saying, from the outback of Oz, good to see you, my friend. Social distancing is in the country is the best. Yeah, I mean, I don't have to see people if I choose not to. Sir, that is one impeccable shirt. Thank you, Delay. These are available on my store, whatever that clothing store that is part of YouTube. You can get one just like it. This was actually found on another person's store, but they no longer sell it. So I decided to make my own because I feel like we are all citizen press. Corporate media is garbage. It's nothing but garbage. Have you ever been to Haywood County Hamfest? No, sir, I have not. And unfortunately, all Hamfests seem to be called off, so it's a bummer. Cat Lover says, yes, my husband is right. Illinois is good. We can't go to any state park. They just saw signs on the trail that he's in the park says no walking. Wow, that's crazy, man. Orange Man, good time of year to plant leafy greens like cabbage and kale. We just planted some lettuce, leafy lettuce and cabbages as well. Carpenter bees are blooming too. Yes, they are. In fact, we were joking. We were building this new barn, or actually today we were building a shed, and I was like, boy, look at all that fresh pine. They're just going to be going to town on that here in a week or two. So let's see here. Oh my gosh. Megan Boyle. Oh boy. Okay, hold on. Oh boy, I'm missing so many of these. I'm so sorry, folks. It's not that I'm ignoring anyone. I really appreciate the fact that you've all come in here tonight. AR Man saying he plans to install an amp in his truck for the McKinley if I can work it out, trade for a few CBs. Is my 102 still the best antenna? You bet you know what. I've got my McKinley hooked up to a foot warmer. I bought one of them RM 102s, or what is it, 203s? Yeah, RM 203. I got it hooked to a Tram 3000 on that radio. Holy cow. And the McKinley has adjustable power output, so you don't have to have it tuned professionally. There's just a way of going in there and tuning that. I won't make a video about that because, I don't use amps. But I did perhaps buy one at Christmas time, and it works awesome. Freelance, great variety of videos, man. Very interesting and informational. I respect and appreciate you for the kind person you obviously are. Wish you all the best. Well, thank you, my friend. I really appreciate those nice words. I am who I am. I'm sure there are people out there that hate me for legitimate reasons. Over the years, I've obviously done things wrong. I'm sure, like all of us have, that we regret. But I do try to make my life as good as possible. I try to follow the right path, Megan Boyle saying, Lyle, I should have sent you a picture of my Mirage. I still love it. I'm going to kit out the LE when the weather is a little nicer. 11,900 miles since July. Mine has only 75 because the shutdown kind of put a crimp on that, but I love it, man. In fact, I just bought those scuff plates, chrome scuff plates that go in the door because I was worried about scratching the paint down there. But yeah, man, you're going to love it. I got a video I'll show you here shortly. Between 9 p.m. and 10 p.m., I'm making egg sandwiches. Saturday night thing here. Right on, dude. Dallas saying, oh my gosh, how many of these have I missed? Dallas is saying he fixing to raise his $8.99 on a 30-foot easy up pole. Yeah, you sent me a picture of that pole. I looked about getting one of them poles. I'm very curious to see how you like that when that all works out. There was a guy I knew back in the 90s that had one. He was happy with it, but he had it kind of leaning up against a building, so it wasn't totally freestanding. So I'm kind of curious, man. Opted for the extra $35 for the ground plane kit. I'm going to spray paint mine with some non-metallic paint. Hopefully, make it last. Yeah, I mean, I love my A99. If anybody complains that something's blown up after 20 plus years, I'd say I'd say that they're just looking for something to complain about. Some person says a lot of clay soil in that area too makes growing things a little more challenging, but hey, you can make your own pottery. That's true. Always looking at the bright side of things. 37 years old, my friend. Well, I am 47 years old this year, and man, I wish treat every day well. Like the things that I do now were so much easier 10 years ago, and so much easier 20 years ago. It's still capable of forcing my body to do the hard manual labor, but I do seriously worry about the day that we're no longer able to perform the things that I need to do. So it's a comment that I've said to my wife many times. You amass the skills and the tools necessary to do just about everything you ever needed to know how to do right about the time you're no longer physically able to do it. And I almost have all the tools and skills I need to do almost everything I need to do, so I'm starting to get worried. South Walker 157, Northwest Arkansas is the fastest growing area in the region, and 30 to 40 minutes to the Ozarks. I know a good retailer if anyone is interested. Good to know, man. Good. Good. Help you guys out, man. Help yourselves out there. That's awesome to know. Bro Weaver's on stopping New Yorkers from moving to Florida and bringing Uh, it's not going to happen, man. I mean, there's going to be shelter in place, and there's going to be the total lockdown. But I think that the human migration is just something we're stuck with, and so there's no way to stop this thing from doing what it's going to do. We're only slowing it down. So kind of a bummer, man. Jordan B says he has a lemon tree, a lime tree, an edible cactus, and a variety of chili peppers grown in the backyard, but I can't really survive off of that. No, but you can make a heck of a meal. Alex King says I got a 102 whip as the best antenna still. You betcha, buddy. Let's see. A 9mm AR man. Oh, no. Oh, my gosh. William Oswald just donated $10, Barrow. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. I appreciate that. That is very, very kind of you. Interesting. Speaking of money, I'm having. This was very interesting. Obviously, people are all locked up right now, so everyone's watching a lot more YouTube. So my views are up like 40% or some insane amount. Like, I mean, it's crazy, and that's good because someday, those will be new subscribers. Hopefully, people find our channels and they become more and more interested in the stuff that I do here. Um, but as the views have gone up, unfortunately, revenue is crashing because I guess who wants to advertise when no one's allowed to leave their house and buy anything. So yeah, but that's just the way that is. Let's see here. AR Man's 47 as a 19. Yeah, man, there you go. So we're right around the same age there. Megan saying definitely crossing her fingers for you. When Grandpa was a farmer in Maine, my dad used to tell me stories. You can get barrel fires to heat the trees if you get a frost. Yeah, that is a thought. Gosh, I hope it doesn't come to that. Have you ever had a mayonnaise sandwich? I've had a lot of mayonnaise on a sandwich. Does that count? Megan Boyle, better to have help from the neighbors. Hopefully you can get some help. Yeah, I do have. I'm blessed to know the people that own the property around me, and I've never had a bad conversation with any of them. And I actually got to meet through YouTube, and this is how the world is a very small place. My next door neighbor, who's still probably about a quarter mile down the road. I'd never met the man before in my life, but he came out of nowhere and wanted to donate that TRS-80 Model 1 that I made a video on. And it turns out the guy's my next door neighbor. He's not just crazy. So you get to know people in the strangest way. And that's one of the reasons why I try to keep my privacy, because if the world is small, let's just leave it at that. But that's cool to know that there's good people on the street. 9mm AR man, Myrtle Beach has ordered all non-residents out within 72 hours. They ought to. I can't believe anyone is still vacationing, but kids will be kids, City folks are definitely effed. You're right. Sad for them. I agree with that, and that's where, I mean, it's just horrifying to think of what's going to happen in New York and L.A. and Illinois, and Chicago and Detroit, and gosh, it's just horrifying to think of what's going to happen. But they did call up 1 million reservists, and IRR has been reactivated. So a lot of folks are back in action, whether they thought they were going to be or not. Especially those IRR guys. Let's see. Can you send me an email? I'm interested in looking for something 3 to 6 months from now. Good, dude. You guys connect with each other. Rock and Rod, my favorite song is "We're Here for a Good Time and Not a Long Time." That's true, man. Life is short. Certainly, if this current events aren't teaching us something right now, it's that life is short and has an expiration date for all of us. Some people are going to get cut short over this, no doubt. Cat Lover, does anybody watch Clara from the Great Depression cooking? Yes, man. I actually watch her, Cat Lover. Yeah, she's got some cool things, and she has some cool stories too. Rudy Maraca, Alex King used 3/4 pipe at 108. Pick up SWR. Cool. Uh, Bro Weaver wants to know if I can be called up. No, sir. I'm a disgusting fat body, and I am well outside of the IRR range. In fact, they start calling people like me up. You know the world's coming to an end, my friend. So I've been out now many years, so I'm good. I served my full term, and including what would have been IRR time. So I'm completely out. Oh boy. Well, you know what, kids? It is 7:15. I'm going to run this thing about another 5 or 10 minutes. You know what? We don't even need to go to the Midnight Cafe. We had a great talk, and I'm glad. I mean, we had 50 people in here for most of the night, and some of you were kind enough to donate. That's awesome. Most of you gave a thumbs up. If you haven't, please, hopefully you will think about doing so. And just to remind everyone, there are a lot of new videos that are coming. So there are 30 or 40. There'll probably be 40 before the weekends are over. Videos that are in the bag, ready for us to post. So I'm probably going to do at least 3. I might start doing 4 videos a week, uploading. So we'll see. I'll probably do Saturday, Sunday as always. I was doing Wednesdays back in the day. I've started doing that as of this week again. And I don't know. I might do Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. We'll see how that plays out. As far as live shows go, since I find myself with homebound, and I'm sure a lot of you are or will be shortly as well. Perhaps I will try to do more live shows like this because I've actually really enjoyed this conversation tonight. We were able to talk about the things that are going on in our lives without dwelling on you know, the downsides to it, and hopefully we can continue to do that as this gets on and probably gets worse for some of us. I hope all of you stay safe. I hope all of you stay healthy, and I hope we all make it through this on the other side. I have limited resources here on the farm, but if there's ever anything I can do for any of you, feel free to contact me. Like I said, Jordan B., if you want some cigars, my gosh, of all the things I don't have a plethora of in this life, I do have a plethora of cheap cigars, so I'd be happy to send you a few. I think that's a great thing to do. You know, some of you out there, Dallas Rife and Jamaica Dog have sent me things over the years, and I don't think he's in here tonight, but it's the least I can do to return the favor. You know, we had the CB radio giveaway. That was my way of giving back a little bit, and awesome. So Bro Weaver saying no dislikes tonight, huh? Well, that's a miracle because anything that has anything to do with CB usually gets about 15 to 20 dislikes because there's this group of CB haters out there apparently. I don't know what that's all about. As long as it's not a CB related video, I usually get away with just 1 or 2 haters, but it's crazy, man. Oh, William, thank you so much, man. Thank you. I appreciate the donation. Always nice to hear from folks, man. That's awesome. Glad to see you all have enjoyed this. Dallas said he served as well 4 years in the Marines. I'm only 2 years behind you at 45. Some mornings I wake up and think, if I knew I was going to live this long. Yeah, buddy. Oh, my gosh. Yes. Yeah, my knees, man. I am starting to regret listening to my doctor on my knees because I needed knee replacements a couple years ago, and they kept telling me, hey, man, you hold off as long as possible. Dude, I think of what I could be doing if I had better knees right now, and I'm thinking I should have taken care of it last year. Kenny, thanks, Eric. Hope to catch you next month. Thank you, my friend. Some person. Don't be sending stuff, man. What do you mean? Oh, I'm not sick, I swear. Alex King. Yeah, buddy, let's see here. I'm just going to let you guys seem to be talking about each other. That's good. Any campgrounds near you? Not that I'm aware of. Maybe on the other side of the county. And in Tennessee, there are some. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. Oh, guys. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up for tonight. I have had a great time. I hope you have as well. I'm going to go grab myself some dinner and I'll be asleep by 8:15, the way you know the way God wanted it to be. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a safe time, and I will definitely keep you all informed. I'll put up a reminder if we decide to do a live show a little sooner. Really been nice talking with all of you. Take care.